All right. So I haven't linked it in the description yet, but I will here in just a little bit. There is an article by Ford Authority talking about the Maverick. I think the article is referenced that the hybrid motor is $1,500 more and is the optional motor this year for the 2024 or for next year for the 2024 Ford Maverick. But in that article, they also talked about the possibility of an ST or Street Performance Maverick coming in 2024. So is it true that the Maverick will receive an ST or lowered factory Maverick? No, it is not true. So that is not going to happen this year, as well as a couple other things that will not happen that people are looking forward to. And so we know from the broadcast on Friday, they said there's going to be no major packages or trims or new powertrains and such in this model year. So they and we'll talk about here in just a little bit of why. But also that also means it will not be an all-wheel drive hybrid version. There will not be a plug-in version, a plug-in hybrid version. So, and then there's not going to be an ST model as well. So this here is pretty much a rollover from 23 to 24. Not a lot of, there's not really any changes. Some changes to some standard equipment for the Lariat, but not any major changes this year. All right. So hopefully most of you watched the video from Friday that I released. But if you did not, so let's talk about the 2024 Maverick, and we'll talk about all kinds of good stuff in here and questions you might have for the Maverick. So we're up to a couple hundred people in here. All right. So first off, for those of you that have a 2023 Maverick that's still unscheduled, you will need to make sure you put in an order for a 2024 model year Maverick. Unless you get scheduled this week or next week. If you're not scheduled by the 17th of July, which is when the order banks open up, you'll need to put in an order for 24. So it is a new order. They're not going to carry those over. At one time, they wanted to just push those orders over. In fact, they were even talking that possibly this model year was not going to be a model year they were going to take new orders at all. They were just going to make sure they handled all their current order holders first. But they think they've come up with a system that will work to where they can prioritize those orders. So if you are with a dealer, you have an unscheduled 23 yet you'll need to put in a 24 model year order. Also, you want to make sure they use the same order number, same last name on that order with the same dealer. That is the only way they can match those up. They were struggling this last year with private offers when people chose new dealers. So you don't want to choose a new dealer. You're going to want to stay with the same dealer you're with. Sorry if you have if you're having a dealer that's difficult to work with and maybe they didn't prioritize your order. Well, great. Ford's done with that. They're going to take it over for you, for the dealer. They're going to make sure that you get prioritized. So Ford is going to prioritize your order, and they have a system that'll work, but it needs to match up with the order number and the name with the same dealer. So that's how that's going to be work. You can order something different. We'll talk about it in just a little bit. You don't have to order the same thing in 24 as you had in 23. Also, you're going to get private offer to make up for any price protection. So I don't like using the word price protection because that implies you're going to get the same price if you order the same thing. That is not necessarily going to be accurate. You're going to get a private offer rebate in a sense that will hopefully make up the difference for that price increase from last year to this year. So for an example, this year, the 2024 XL EcoBoost will be $805 more than last year. So more than likely, if you had an EcoBoost hybrid, or I mean an EcoBoost XL, you're going to get a private offer for about $800. Maybe they'll do $850. Maybe if you had an XL hybrid, it's going to go up $2,300 because the hybrid is now $1,500 option. Then they'll probably give you a private offer of $2,300. If you get where I'm going there, that's what that means there. So, so you want to make sure they put that offer in. You will get price protected with a private offer. You will also get prioritized by Ford as long as you keep your order with the same dealer. They emphasize that on the webcast. That's not me telling people on McArthur you need to order from us. That is coming from Ford. Also, order guides are supposed to be released next Monday, the 10th, with the order banks opening up on the 17th. I do not know when the order banks are going to open up exactly, or what time on the 10th the order guides will be available. So you'll need to work with your dealers on that. Build and price on Ford.com will go live the morning of the 17th. You will not be able to build it out. I can tell you right now though, you can look at the 23 and be good. So we'll go over. In fact, we're moving to that now. Let's talk about product changes for this year. So the only change, no changes to the XL trim, other than the hybrid being optional motor. The EcoBoost is the standard motor. Other than that, nothing new on the XL. Still get cruise control. Still get Copilot 360 package is optional. The Bliss and the lane keeping system. XLT trim, no changes other than to the luxury package. If you choose the XLT luxury package, it is now going to come with the hard drop-in liner. I know. Already talked to the brand manager, and they feel like they can be able to provide more of those ways to protect your vehicle, and so they're going to do the hard drop-in liner on the XLT luxury package. No option yet. I asked about a delete of that. Not an option. The way you delete it is to take it out when it gets there. That's your delete option. So there you
All
go.
right.
Whether you like it or not, I'm just a messenger here. All right, on the Lariat package, it is now going to come standard with the luxury package with the spray and bed liner, and comes standard with the Copilot 360 package. That's your Bliss, your lane keeping, and comes standard with the Copilot 360 Assist package, which gives you the lane centering, the evasive steering assist, the rear sensors, and your adaptive cruise. So that's all now standard, including wireless charging pad, or it says wireless charger, but it'd have to be some sort of pad. Anyway, probably should go down in there. Did they have that last year? I don't know. I feel like that they didn't have it last year. Also, the mirrors are now going to be painted black instead of body colored on the Lariat trim. So now there's no longer a base Lariat. It's a loaded up Lariat. So you'll see that there's a price increase of like $4,700. Most of that is for those packages. That is now standard. I will say most of the orders that we put in at McArthur for the Lariat trim, almost everybody chose all those packages.
Does it include the cleat tie down kit?
No, they did not mention that.
Hmm. Interesting.
You know, you can make that yourself pretty cheap at
Yeah.
Lowe's, Home
You get
Depot.
some. I think they said electrician.
They make those rails, and
Yeah,
you can
the
get
electrician
all that stuff.
rails.
We saw a lot of people at Carlisle that made their own.
Yeah, cut them down to size. Grab some
Anyway.
iron hooks, and it works.
Also, hold on. Let me get to it. We're going to talk about new colors in a second, but
Yeah, it was in the Lariat Lux, wasn't it?
What?
The wireless charging.
I don't remember that it was. Okay. Maybe it was.
And trailer hitch was standard on Lux.
Tremor changes for this year. Okay. So last year there was a Tremor appearance, or in 2023, I should say this year, there was a Tremor appearance package. What you're seeing here on the screen, where you received the mirror caps and the roof was painted gray, carbonized gray, and then you got the decals on the side and on the hood, which you can kind of see in the smaller image on the right. So they are doing away with that appearance package, but what they are doing is the Tremor package itself will come with the hood decals, and the side door decals are going to be standard with an option to delete them if you don't want the decals at all. So that is a change for the Tremor that's happening this year as well. So you'll have that going on for the Tremor. So that's the only options there. All right. Are we ready for the bad news? If we haven't had, some of you felt like you got bad news already. Let's talk about some colors. Let me get back to where I was.
All right. So the Lariat Lux did have the wireless charging last year.
Did it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
McArthur has it on his.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about the new colors. Let's talk about new colors first. Let's talk about the good news first. New colors. We have Azure Gray Metallic,
which is pretty.
It's a tri-coat. So that'll be like what the Cyber Orange cost would be. Is probably what the cost is going to be on that as well.
It's glittery.
and
Pretty.
we have a terrain. So it is kind of hard if you don't see the Area 51 with the Azure Gray. You see them side by side, you can tell the difference. But if you just see one, I'm like, okay, is that Azure Gray? Is that Area 50? It's hard to tell the difference until you get close to it, and then instantly when you get close to it, you can see the difference. It is a tricoat. So it is a pretty color, but it will cost probably $7.95 or whatever the cyber oranges this year will be. So terrain, we don't know. It doesn't say it's a metallic. So I love how they say Azure Gray metallic, but it is a tricoat. So
Is it $9.95 for that, or is that for like the
I
Bronco?
I
So the
don't
thing
know.
is
I think
that
it's whatever the cost is on the cyber orange.
yes. So
That's what it'll be.
what you'll see is if you see Cyber Orange on another vehicle like Bronco, it is $9.95. But if you come over to
$4.95.
Maverick, it's a smaller vehicle. It takes less paint,
Yep.
so it is cheaper. So you'll probably see it at the $4.95 range.
Actually, cyber orange is $4.95 this year. So so that's probably the cost it'll be. I wouldn't be
So
surprised if it's more.
I wouldn't take
Oops.
the pricing for color of a Bronco or an F-150 to be the same as the Maverick, just because they're different sizes and they
Yes.
take different paint amounts.
Yep. There's some of them that it's $9.99. So anyway, all right. And then terrain. Terrain is brown. It's like sand, and it was available on the F-150 Raptor years ago. So if you Googled that. So anyway, all right, moving on because you saw a little bit of it. Deleted colors that aren't available for 2024 that are available in 23. Alto blue is going away. Also, Area 51. The marketed color, the one that they use for all the marketing, Area 51 is not available this year, and Alto Blue. So those are two of them.
Yep.
Here's two more. Cyber Orange is going away as well. That is not available in 24. And then Avalanche, which is only a Tremor color this year, is already 1 year gone. So if you got an Avalanche Tremor, you're gonna have a rare
with
vehicle.
An appearance package.
Yeah, if you have it with
one even rarer.
So if you have an Avalanche Gray with an appearance package,
Terrain would look good with the black appearance package.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
All right. So there you go. What else do I have? Oh, also on the XL, did I do that? So on the XL, for those that are getting a retail, so there are a couple colors that are now only available for fleet. So on the XL, you will not be able to get iconic silver or carbonized gray. So basically, here are your options. You got black, you got white, you have cactus gray. I had to think about that one was. You have Atlas blue, and then you'll probably have terrain. So what's that? 5 color options.
They need to add the green. They need to add eruption green as an
They
option.
took it away from the Mustang. I would not be surprised if we don't see eruption green in the Bronco Sport next year. But maybe. I don't know.
Eruption green on the Maverick.
All right. So there you go.
Come on, Ford. Give us more color options.
That's our options there.
People want more color.
And as we said, no all-wheel drive hybrid available, no plug-in hybrid this year. Like I said, there's a 13-month production this year versus last year it was 11 months. So the goal this year was that really for them to just roll over 23 to 24. This was not a new content year for this. So you can see that there's not really anything majorly new, some different colors and such. There's not a new option or a new package this year. There's some things that are now included in the Lariat trim, but you'll see not a major changes. That's why you can actually take 23 order guide or 23 build price, and you can figure out what you want for this year. So feel free to do that. Now let's talk about something else that's a change this year that can affect making changes to your order. So you probably want to decide what you want and stick to it. And this is why. This year I found out. Last year there's 3 body codes. Then it's a W8E, which is front wheel drive, W8 F, which was all wheel drive, and W8G meant it was a Tremor all wheel drive system. So basically, those body codes just had to do with your drive system. This year there's going to be more body codes. There's going to be 8 body codes. So that VIN number W8E and such will be based on your trim and your drive system. So XL front wheel drive will have a body code. XL all wheel drive will have a body code. XLT will do the same thing. Lariat will do the same thing. And Tremor will have an XLT Tremor or Lariat Tremor. So that's your 8 body codes. So why is this a big impact? Well, we know price protection within the model year is okay as long as you don't change your body code.
Mhm.
So you can't change your trim without changing your body code in 2024. So that if there's a price increase and you make that change afterwards, you will lose price increase. So that's why I say try to decide what you want, at least if not at the beginning of the model year, before there's a price increase, which usually happens mid-year. So last year it was in February before we saw a price increase. So it'll probably be a couple months before we see a price increase. But you need to kind of decide those. Another way you can maybe decide is your mix percentages. So XL, they're going to produce at a 20% capacity, XLT at 53%. So more than half of the Mavericks built each month will be XLT. Lariat trim, 27%. So that's the mix there. Now, probably seen this out there as well. I even talked about it, and this actually these percentages on the engine is a little misleading, and I'll tell you why. So hybrid is 35%, EcoBoost 65%. So a lot of people are going to go, wait a minute, they ramped up production to 50%. Now they're coming back. Well, not necessarily. So here's what's happening. I was able to find this out from Ford, is that they're going to be making just as many hybrids in 24 as they made in 23. So hybrid production is up, but EcoBoost production is up even more. So they're going to be able to make even more EcoBoost. And because of that, the percentage is going to be skewed, if that makes sense. So if they're going to make more vehicles because of 13-month production, they're able to make more EcoBoost with the same number of hybrid. That's where that percentage goes from a 50-50 to a bigger number. So that percentage is down. We actually have seen this. I noticed this on like some of the other vehicles. We noticed, hey, well, right now the mix of orders in the order bank is like 83%, but it started out at 75. How is that possible? Well, because they made more of the EcoBoost. So as they make more of them, they have less orders in there. It's naturally the percentage is going to move, right? That just hopefully that makes sense to most people. Anyway, so that's I wanted to kind of relay that information. Also, the package mix, Tremor off-road package is going to be billed at 10% this year. It was 8% last year, so that's going to go up. FX4 package is at 10%. Black appearance package is the same 10% as it was last in 2023. 4K tow package is at 20%, and the optional hitch is still at 65%. So we're talking optional hitch because you get a hitch automatically in the 4K tow package as well as your luxury packages. So there's that. Again, this year, I would say the same thing. Stay away from tonneau covers, bed extenders, splash guards, protective film. Leave those off. Even if they're within capacity, the capacity is so low, I wouldn't put it on your orders. So, yeah. And allocation system this year. Let's talk about that, actually. Let's going to talk about it. It is going to be different this year. Last year, it was based on, in 2023 model year, I should say, it was based on the dealer's the dealer's escape sales made a 28% determining factor. The Ranger also 28%, 30% to the Maverick, and 14% to the Bronco Sport. This year, those three models are cut in half, and the Maverick now affects 65% of the sales volume in the last year are now determined by that allocation number. So that really helps us out. We're almost going to be up about
Yeah, 100.
we're going to be up more than 100 allocations this year, maybe even more. So yeah, we're liking that, and that does make sense, so it's a bigger impact. And they think after this year, it'll roll to what everybody else's model is, and they'll have that mix just right. They were trying to make sure that this is being given to dealers accordingly of what it should, which I don't know, that's a bunch of baloney, but
Yeah.
whatever. We have now, I mean, plenty of production and sales volume to give a good accurate number. Reward the dealerships that actually liked your model and not because of the over MSRP that you could get. And I believe that's what's happening here is that they felt like they had to appease some dealers, some high volume dealers, because they didn't focus on the Maverick because it was a low, that doesn't make a lot of money. But then once these dealerships got vehicles in that people didn't take and there was a high demand, they were able to sell them over MSRP. Now these dealers are like, wait a minute, these do make money right now. But hopefully those dealerships don't go in it for that, because there's still dealerships like McArthur and some other dealerships that are still selling theirs at MSRP, even on an ordered unit. That's the other thing you're going to want to do. I mentioned on that on the video on Friday. You need to contact your dealerships now if you're wanting to put in a new order, or even if you're having also those that have an order that have to put in again next year. Those dealerships might feel like they got your hands tied, and they might price up the vehicle. Make sure you're asking your dealers not what the price of the vehicle is going to be. Ask them what over MSRP they're going to charge you. Make sure you get that information, and then also don't forget to ask them what ADMs, what else are you going to add to the vehicle when it comes in, what fees are going to be added, what else is going to be added. I talk about that in all my videos now lately, because some dealerships will do that. They'll say, hey, all of our vehicles have to have a protective film. We want that paint to be protected. Mavericks, I know at the beginning of 22, people said that they thought the paint was thin. So now dealers, it's a way for them to go, wait a minute, there's an angle. Well, we have to put this on there because it'll protect your paint longer and this and that. Well, no, they don't. So you might ask them about that. Some of them will add other different add-on products that they require or whatever. So you want to make sure you know that information, and then make sure you know that they should know about private offers and price protection by now. But if you had them last year, hopefully you asked that question already. So anyway, you'll want to make sure you do all those things too. So now I don't know if some people want to know what the price increases are for this year. I have that. It's just all I have is the base price increases. And by the way, your private offers are going to be based not on all the packages and items you add on there. They're going to give you the difference in the base price. So they're not going to give you, okay, you had an XLT with the luxury package EcoBoost last year. Well, they're not going to, the private offer they're going to give you is based on the XLT, not with the Lux package necessarily, especially if the Lux package probably doesn't go up in price, right? Or it might not go up much. So basically, like we mentioned, hybrid is $1,500 extra on all your trim levels and drivetrains. Looks like the XL is going up $800. XLT is going up $1,400. And the Lariat trim, it's hard to tell what is going up because it's going up $4,200 plus the $1,500 if you go hybrid. But that's also giving you the Lux package, Copilot 360, and the Copilot 360 Assist. So maybe we can do the math on that here. Let's look and see. Let's go to Lariat trim on the website here, and let's actually look that up so we can kind of see what price increase. I have to get the calculator out here because I've always told myself don't do math on a live stream. It doesn't bode well. All right, so let's look at this real quick.
Aren't you going to be a math major?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm just not fast with it. I'll get there. No, just kidding. All right. So the Lux package, and some people are already telling us in the chat down there, it's $2,610 plus $650 for the Copilot 360 and $750 for the Copilot 360 Assist package. So that comes out to $4,010, and the price increase and the difference is $4,280. So it looks like the Lariat's only going up a couple $100.
Okay.
That looks like the Lariat might be the value right there.
It just might be.
But for some people, they're like, well, I was going with the base Lariat. Now I got to go all the way up.
Yeah.
So I would get that. But anyway, all right.